The unexpected arrival. The Galactic Nexus Academy hung suspended in the inky void of space, its gleaming spires and domed structures a testament to the collaborative genius of 1,000 alien species. Pulsating energy fields and shimmering force fields encased the massive station, protecting it from the harsh realities of the cosmos, while also serving as a breathtaking spectacle for new arrivals. Inside the Academy's grand atrium, Dean Zornthar, a towering multi-limbed being with iridescent scales, paced nervously. His 8 eyes blinked in an unsynchronized pattern, a clear sign of agitation to those familiar with Quilchian body language. Today was unprecedented in the Academy's 10,000-year history. For the first time, a human would be joining their ranks. Revered Dean. A melodious voice chimed, belonging to his assistant, a cloud-like entity named Mist of Dawn. The human transport has docked. Shall I escort our new student to your office? Zornthar's scales rippled with a mix of anticipation and apprehension. No, Mist of Dawn. I believe it's best if I greet our unique guest personally. The Council's decision to admit a human is controversial enough. We must ensure every courtesy is extended. As Zornthar made his way to the docking bay, whispers and murmurs followed in his wake. The Academy's halls were abuzz with rumors and speculation. Humans were a relatively new discovery in the galactic community, and their rapid technological advancement had taken many by surprise. Some viewed them with fascination, others with fear. The docking bay doors hissed open, revealing a small, sleek vessel unlike the usual transports. As the airlock cycled, Zornthar straightened his posture, trying to project an air of calm authority. The door slid open, and out stepped a figure that, despite all his preparation, still managed to surprise him. She was small, much smaller than he had anticipated. Her skin was a warm brown, her hair a cascade of tight curls that seemed to defy gravity. But it was her eyes that caught Zornthar's attention. Large, dark, and filled with an intensity that made him unconsciously take a step back. "Greetings," Zornthar said, his translator working overtime to produce the correct human phonemes. "I am Dean Zornthar. Welcome to the Galactic Nexus Academy." The human's face contorted in what Zornthar hoped was a positive expression. "Hello, Dean Zornthar. I'm Zara Chen. Thank you for this opportunity." Her voice was clear and confident, betraying none of the nervousness Zornthar had expected. As they walked through the Academy's winding corridors, Zornthar couldn't help but notice the reactions of the other students and faculty. Some pressed themselves against the walls, trying to get as far from the human as possible. Others leaned in, their sensory organs working overtime to capture every detail of this exotic creature. "I hope you'll find your stay here both educational and enlightening, Ms. Chen," Zornthar said, trying to fill the awkward silence. "Your species has shown remarkable potential, and we're eager to see how you'll contribute to our academic community." Zara nodded, her eyes darting from one alien face to another, taking in the dizzying array of life forms. "I'm excited to learn, Dean Zornthar. Humanity has so much to discover about the universe and our place in it." They reached Zornthar's office, a cavernous room filled with holographic displays and softly glowing artifacts from across the galaxy. As Zara took a seat, or rather, positioned herself on a hover cushion designed to accommodate a variety of body types, Zornthar settled behind his desk. "Now, Ms. Chen, I must warn you that your presence here is unprecedented. Some may view you with suspicion or even hostility. Are you prepared for the challenges ahead?" Zara's expression hardened, a determination shining in her eyes that Zornthar found both admirable and slightly unnerving. "Dean Zornthar, I've spent my entire life preparing for this moment. Humanity has dreamed of the stars for millennia. Now that we're here, I intend to prove that we belong." Then, slowly, applause began to build. It started with a few scattered claps and grew into a thunderous ovation. Zara saw jaws dropping on the species that had jaws, tentacles waving in excitement, and even Professor Xylith's crystalline form vibrating in what she now recognized as begrudging admiration. The questions from the judges were intense, prodding every aspect of their theory and prototype. But Zara and her team were prepared. They fielded each query with confidence, their diverse backgrounds allowing them to approach problems from multiple angles. As they left the stage, exhausted but exhilarated, Dean Zornthar approached them. His many eyes blinked in an asynchronous pattern that Zara had learned indicated deep thought. "Remarkable," he rumbled. "Truly remarkable. You've not only presented a revolutionary idea, but you've demonstrated the very essence of what the Galactic Nexus Academy stands for, the power of collaboration across species." The next few hours were a blur as they waited for the judge's decision. When the results were finally announced, Zara could hardly believe her ears. The stellar laureate for this cycle's cosmic confluence goes to Team Terra Nova for their biosynthetic quantum mesh project. The auditorium erupted in cheers. Zara found herself engulfed in a group hug that included tentacles, wings, and bioluminescent appendages. As they made their way to the stage to accept their award, she caught sight of Professor Xylith. To her surprise, he gave her a small nod of respect. As Zara accepted the award on behalf of her team, she felt a swell of pride not just for herself, but for humanity. They had proven that despite being newcomers to the galactic stage, humans had something unique and valuable to offer. "This award," she said into the microphone, her voice thick with emotion, "is not just for us. It's for every being who has ever looked up at the stars and dreamed of bridging the vast distances between us. It's for the spirit of collaboration that brought us together and the endless possibilities that await when we combine our diverse perspectives." As the ceremony concluded and the team made their way through a crowd of congratulatory aliens, Zara couldn't help but smile. She had come to the Galactic Nexus Academy to learn, but she had ended up teaching as well. She had shown the galaxy that humanity, for all its youth and inexperience in cosmic matters, was a force to be reckoned with. The human experiment at the Academy had been more successful than anyone could have imagined. And this, Zara knew, was just the beginning. A new understanding. The aftermath of the Galactic Academic Olympiad brought a whirlwind of change to the Academy. Zara and her team found themselves at the center of attention, their groundbreaking theories on wormhole creation sparking intense debate and excitement throughout the galactic scientific community. But with recognition came new challenges, and the human exchange student was about to face her greatest test yet. One standard galactic week after their victory, Zara was summoned to Dean Zornthar's office. As she entered the cavernous room, she was surprised to find not only the dean, but also Professor Xylith and several members of the Galactic Council present. Their expressions were grave. "Zara Chen of Earth," Dean Zornthar began, his voice uncharacteristically solemn, "we face a crisis that threatens not just the Academy, but potentially the entire galactic community, and we believe you may be the key to solving it." Zara's mind raced. "Me? But I'm just a student. What could I possibly do?" Professor Xylith stepped forward, his chromatophores pulsing with a mix of reluctance and urgency. "Your unorthodox approach to the wormhole problem has implications beyond what we initially realized. It seems your theory has inadvertently provided a blueprint for destabilizing the fabric of space-time itself." The gravity of the situation hit Zara like a physical force. Her theory, meant to bridge vast distances, could potentially tear the universe apart if misused. But how? "We were just theorizing. We didn't actually build anything." A holographic display flickered to life, showing a distant sector of the galaxy. Strange, swirling anomalies pulsed ominously, growing larger by the moment. "These disturbances appeared shortly after your theory was published," one of the council members explained. "We believe a rogue faction has taken your work and attempted to weaponize it. They seek to hold the galaxy ransom, threatening to create a cascading collapse of space-time, unless their demands are met." As they led Zora through the winding corridors of the Academy, the human girl couldn't help but gape at the marvels around her. Holographic displays flickered with equations beyond her comprehension, while alien students of various species hurried past, some eyeing her with curiosity, others with barely concealed disdain. Your living quarters have been prepared according to the specifications provided by your Earth scientists, Headmaster Zolan explained as they approached a door that seemed to be made of living, pulsating material. I hope you'll find them comfortable. The door parted like a curtain, revealing a room that was a bizarre mix of familiar Earth furnishings and utterly alien technology. A bed that looked almost normal sat next to what appeared to be a zero-gravity meditation pod. A desk with a chair faced a wall covered in a shimmering, interactive surface that Zara assumed was this world's version of a computer. "This is amazing," Zara said, turning in a slow circle to take it all in. "But I have to ask, why me? I mean, I'm good at science, sure, but I'm no genius. There must be smarter humans you could have chosen." Headmaster Zolan's eyes pulsed with an inner light. "Intelligence, young Zara, comes in many forms. We chose you not just for your academic achievements, but for your adaptability, your creativity, and your unique perspective. These qualities, we believe, will be invaluable in the challenges that lie ahead." Dilith made a sound that might have been a snort. "We shall see. Your orientation begins tomorrow, first light. I suggest you rest and prepare yourself. The curriculum here is demanding." As the two aliens left, the living door closing behind them, Zara sank onto the bed, her mind reeling. She was light years from home, surrounded by technology she could scarcely comprehend, about to embark on the most challenging academic journey of her life. And yet, beneath the fear and uncertainty, there was a spark of excitement. This was her chance to prove that humanity deserved a place among the stars. The next morning, if it could be called morning on a planet with 2 suns and a 37-hour rotation, Zara found herself in a vast lecture hall. Aliens of all shapes and sizes filled the room, their appendages, sensory organs, and in some cases, energy fields, creating a cacophony of movement and sound. Professor Xylith stood at the center, his tentacles manipulating a 3-dimensional holographic display. "Today," he announced, his voice amplified and translated for all species present, "we begin our study of quantum entanglement across dimensional barriers. But first, let us acknowledge our new addition." All eyes and various other sensory organs turned to Zara. She felt her face flush as she stood, trying to project confidence she didn't feel. "I'm Zara Chen, from Earth," she said, her voice surprisingly steady. "I'm here to learn, but also to share what I know about my people and our way of thinking. I hope we can work together and learn from each other." A murmur rippled through the crowd. Some students looked intrigued, others skeptical, and a few openly hostile. Zara caught sight of a tall, avian-like creature with iridescent feathers who seemed to be regarding her with particular intensity. As Zara sat down, Professor Xylith resumed his lecture. The holographic display exploded into a dizzying array of mathematical formulas and multidimensional models. Zara's heart sank as she realized she understood maybe 1 word in 10. Beside her, a gelatinous being that seemed to be all eyes and synapses leaned over. "Don't worry," it burbled in a voice that sounded like bubbles popping. "Nobody understands Xylith on the first day. I'm Blorp, by the way." Zara smiled, grateful for the friendly overture. "Nice to meet you, Blorp. Any tips for surviving this class?" Blorp's eyes twinkled mischievously. "Just remember, when Xylith's chromatophores turn magenta, that means he's about to say something important. Oh, and whatever you do, don't sneeze. Some species find it offensive." As the lecture progressed, Zara found herself struggling not just with the advanced concepts, but with the very way alien minds approached problems. Their logic, their intuition, even their perception of reality itself seemed fundamentally different from her own. Yet, as she scribbled notes and asked questions, she began to notice something. While the aliens' approaches were different, they weren't incomprehensible. There was an underlying logic, a beauty to their theories that resonated with her in ways she couldn't quite explain. By the end of the lecture, Zara's head was spinning, but she felt a glimmer of hope. She might be out of her depth, but she wasn't drowning. Not yet, anyway. As the students filed out, the avian creature she had noticed earlier approached her. Up close, Zara could see that what she had thought were feathers were actually fine, crystalline structures that shifted color with each movement. "I am Crealc," the creature said, its voice a melodious trill. "Your words about sharing knowledge intrigued me. Perhaps we could engage in an exchange of ideas." Zara nodded eagerly. "I'd like that, Crealc. Maybe we could start with lunch, assuming we can find something we can both eat." As they walked towards the Academy's nutrition center, discussing the intricacies of their respective digestive systems, Zara felt a weight lift from her shoulders. She might be the only human in a sea of aliens, but she wasn't alone. The first day at the Galactic Academy of Sciences had been overwhelming, confusing, and more than a little terrifying. But as Zara sat down to a meal of synthesized protein cubes, the closest approximation to Earth food the Academy could manage, and listened to Crealc explain the finer points of non-Euclidean geometry, she couldn't help but smile. This was going to be the adventure of a lifetime. The underestimated species. Zara Chen stood before the imposing doors of the Xenobiology laboratory, her heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. It had been 2 weeks since her arrival at the Galactic Nexus Academy, and each day had brought new wonders and challenges. Today marked her first practical session in one of the Academy's most prestigious departments. As the doors slid open with a soft hiss, Zara stepped into a cavernous room filled with holographic displays, pulsating biocontainers and equipment she could scarcely begin to comprehend. The other students, a diverse array of alien life forms, were already gathered around various workstations. Their conversations died down as she entered, replaced by a tense silence and curious stares. Professor Xylith's crystalline form shimmered at the front of the lab, his facets reflecting the room's ambient light in a dazzling display. "Ah, our human student arrives," he chimed, his tone carrying a hint of disdain. "Please, Ms. Chen, join Group Gamma. Today, we'll be analyzing the neural patterns of Voraxian mindworms." Zara made her way to the indicated workstation, acutely aware of the whispers and sidelong glances that followed her. The Group Gamma station was occupied by 3 other students, Zix, an amorphous blob-like being with multiple eye stalks, Corax, a towering insectoid with iridescent wings, and Luma, a bioluminescent humanoid whose skin pulsed with soft, ever-changing colors. "Greetings, human," Zix burbled, its eye stalks swiveling to focus on Zara. "We are curious about your participation in this exercise. Your species' neurobiology is quite primitive compared to the subject matter." Zara felt a flash of irritation but pushed it down. She'd faced similar skepticism since her arrival and had learned that proving herself through actions was more effective than words. "I may surprise you," she said with a smile. "Shall we begin?" Professor Xylith's voice rang out, explaining the intricacies of Voraxian mindworm neural patterns. As he spoke, holographic displays flickered to life around each workstation, showing complex, multidimensional representations of alien brain activity. Zara's eyes widened as she took in the dizzying array of information. The neural patterns were unlike anything she had ever seen, pulsing and shifting in ways that defied her understanding of biology. For a moment, she felt a wave of doubt. How could she hope to contribute to this analysis when the very basics seemed so far beyond her comprehension? But as she continued to study the display, something clicked in her mind. The patterns, while alien, had a rhythm to them, a logic that tickled at the edges of her perception. She began to see similarities to patterns she had studied in Earth's marine life, particularly in the distributed nervous systems of certain cephalopods. "Look here," she said, pointing to a particular sequence in the hologram. "This oscillation, It's similar to how Earth octopuses processed visual information. Could this be related to the mindworm's ability to influence perception? Her teammates stared at her in surprise. Corax's antennae twitched with interest. An intriguing observation, human. But how can you be certain? Your species has no experience with psychic phenomena. Zara's mind raced, drawing connections between what she knew and what she was seeing. We may not have psychic abilities, but we've studied how different stimuli affect perception. If these mindworms influence their prey's minds, they must interface with existing sensory processing systems. The patterns here, she gestured to another part of the display. They remind me of how certain Earth parasites hijack host nervous systems. As they discussed her observations, Zara felt a growing sense of confidence. Her unique perspective, far from being a hindrance, was allowing her to see connections that her alien classmates might have overlooked. Professor Xylith, overhearing their conversation, drifted over to their workstation. His crystalline body chimed with skepticism. Ms. Chen, while your enthusiasm is noted, I hardly think that comparing these complex psychic entities to Earth parasites is appropriate. Zara took a deep breath, steeling herself. With all due respect, Professor, I believe the comparison has merit. Look at this sequence here. She manipulated the hologram, highlighting a specific pattern. It's remarkably similar to how the Ophiocordyceps unilateralis fungus hijacks ant brains on Earth. If we approach the mindworm's influence from this perspective, we might gain new insights into their methods. The lab fell silent as everyone turned to watch the confrontation. Professor Xylith's crystals vibrated in what Zora had come to recognize as agitation. But before he could respond, Dean Zornfar's imposing form appeared at the lab's entrance. Fascinating observation, Ms. Chen, the dean's voice boomed. Professor Xylith, I believe this warrants further investigation. After all, is not the purpose of the Galactic Nexus Academy to bring together diverse perspectives? Professor Xylith's form seemed to deflate slightly. Of course, Dean Zornfar. We shall explore this line of inquiry. As the class resumed, Zara felt a mix of relief and pride. She had stood her ground and, more importantly, contributed a valuable insight. Her alien classmates looked at her with newfound respect, and even Professor Xylith seemed to regard her with a hint of curiosity rather than pure disdain. The rest of the session passed in a blur of discovery and debate. Zara found herself fully engaged, her human perspective offering unique insights that often led to breakthroughs in their analysis. By the end of the class, Group Gamma had made significant progress in mapping the mindworm's neural influence patterns. As they were packing up, Lumi approached Zora, her skin pulsing with warm, friendly colors. That was impressive, Zora. I must admit, I had doubts about a human's ability to contribute to such advanced studies. But your way of thinking, it's different, yes, but valuable. Zara smiled, feeling the warmth of acceptance for the first time since her arrival. Thank you, Lumi. I'm just happy I could help. There's so much for me to learn here. But I'm realizing that maybe I have something to offer in return. As they left the lab, Zara noticed a small group of students gathered around a glowing notice board. Curious, she approached, squinting to read the alien script that still sometimes gave her trouble. What's going on? She asked Lumi. The bioluminescent alien's colors shifted to a pattern indicating excitement. It's the announcement for the Galactic Scientific Symposium. Each cycle, the Academy selects a team to represent us in presenting groundbreaking research. It's a huge honor, and the competition is fierce. Zara's eyes lit up as she read the details. The symposium covered a wide range of scientific disciplines, from astrophysics to xenobiology. Teams would be expected to present original research that pushed the boundaries of galactic scientific understanding. A spark of ambition ignited in Zora's chest. This was exactly the kind of opportunity she had hoped for when coming to the Academy. A chance to not only learn but to contribute, to show the galaxy what humans were capable of. Are you thinking of entering? Corax asked, his wings buzzing with what Zora had learned was amusement. The competition is intense. Many spend years preparing. Zara met the insectoid's compound eyes with a determined gaze. I'm not just thinking about it. I'm going to do it. And I'd like you all to be on my team. Her classmates exchanged looks of surprise and skepticism, but there was also a glimmer of interest, a spark of curiosity about what this strange human might be capable of. As they left the lab, discussing possibilities and potential research topics, Zara felt a surge of excitement. She had come to the Galactic Nexus Academy to learn, but now she saw an opportunity to teach as well, to show the galaxy that humanity, for all its youth and inexperience in cosmic matters, had something unique and valuable to offer. The path ahead would be challenging, filled with obstacles both academic and cultural. But as Zara looked at her alien classmates, now engaged in animated discussion about her symposium proposal, she knew she had taken the first steps towards belonging. The human experiment at the Galactic Nexus Academy was no longer just about what Zara could learn from the galactic community. It was about what humanity could contribute to the grand tapestry of cosmic knowledge. And Zara was determined to ensure that contribution would be nothing short of revolutionary. The great competition. The announcement of the Galactic Academic Olympiad sent shockwaves through the hallowed halls of the Academy. Held once every century, this prestigious competition brought together the brightest minds from across the galaxy to solve some of the most perplexing scientific challenges of the age. For Zara Chen, it represented both an unprecedented opportunity and a daunting challenge. You must participate, Krialk insisted, his crystalline feathers shimmering with excitement. This is your chance to prove the worth of humanity to the entire academic community. Zara felt a knot form in her stomach. But Krialk, I've only been here for a few months. How can I possibly compete against students who've been studying advanced galactic sciences their whole lives? Blorp, who had become an unlikely but steadfast friend, burbled encouragingly. You bring a unique perspective, Zara. Sometimes it's not about knowing the most, but about seeing things differently. Their faith in her was touching, but Zara couldn't shake her doubts. However, as she looked around at the other students buzzing with anticipation, she realized that backing down wasn't an option. She was here to represent humanity, and she would do so to the best of her ability. The day of team selections arrived, and the grand auditorium was filled with a cacophony of excited chatter in 100 different languages. Headmaster Zolan stood on the central platform, his crystalline form gleaming under the lights. Students of the Galactic Academy, his voice boomed, today you will form your teams for the Olympiad. Choose wisely, for the challenges ahead will test not just your knowledge, but your ability to work together across species boundaries. As students began to cluster into groups, Zara found herself standing alone. Despite the friendships she had formed, many still viewed humans as an unknown quantity, a potential liability in such a high-stakes competition. Just as despair began to set in, she felt a tap on her shoulder. She turned to find Krialk, Blorp, and to her surprise, Vexlor, a quantumite student known for his brilliance in theoretical physics. We would be honored if you would join our team. Zara Chen of Earth, Vexlor said, his voice a series of harmonic frequencies that made the air vibrate. Touched by their gesture and bolstered by their confidence, Zara nodded. The honor is mine, she replied, her voice thick with emotion. As the teams dispersed to begin their preparations, an uncomfortable silence fell over the auditorium. All eyes turned to Professor Xylith, who had just entered, his chromatophores pulsing with barely contained anger. Headmaster Zolan. Xylith's voice was cold. I must protest. Allowing a human to participate in the Olympiad is unprecedented and potentially dangerous. Their technology is primitive, their understanding of universal constants is flawed, and their presence could compromise the integrity of the entire competition. Murmurs of agreement rippled through some sections of the crowd, while others shifted uncomfortably. Zara felt her face burn with a mixture of shame and indignation. Headmaster Zolan regarded Xylith calmly. Your concerns are noted, Professor. However, the decision has been made. Zara Chen has earned her place here, and she will be given the same opportunity as every other student to prove herself in the Olympiad. Xylith's tentacles writhed in frustration, but he bowed stiffly and retreated. As he left, Zora couldn't help but notice the look of cold determination in his eyes. She had a sinking feeling that this wouldn't be the last obstacle she'd face. The weeks leading up to the Olympiad were a blur of intense study sessions, heated debates, and late-night brainstorming. Zara threw herself into the preparation, determined to prove that she belonged. Her teammates were supportive, each bringing their unique strengths to the table. Kriok's intuitive understanding of spatial relationships complemented Vexler's mastery of quantum mechanics, while Blorp's ability to process vast amounts of data at incredible speeds was invaluable. Zara found her niche in connecting disparate ideas, her human creativity allowing her to see patterns and possibilities that sometimes eluded her alien friends. "Someone's sabotaging us," Zara finally said out loud one evening, voicing what they had all been thinking. Vexler's energy field fluctuated in agitation. But who would do such a thing? It goes against every principle of academic integrity. Kriok's feathers drooped. I hate to say it, but could it be because of Zara? There are still those who resent a human's presence in the academy. The thought hung heavy in the air. Zara felt a wave of guilt wash over her. Had she put her friends' chances at risk simply by being on their team? Blorp, ever the optimist, bubbled softly. Then we'll just have to work harder. We'll show them that together, we're stronger than any sabotage. Inspired by Blorp's words, the team redoubled their efforts. They worked in shifts, always ensuring that someone was guarding their research. They developed encryption algorithms to protect their data, combining Vexler's quantum expertise with some old-school human cryptography techniques that Zara remembered from her computer science classes back on Earth. As the day of the Olympiad dawned, Zara felt a mixture of exhaustion and nervous excitement. The grand arena was filled with holographic displays, strange apparatus, and teams of aliens from across the galaxy, all buzzing with anticipation. The challenges were even more daunting than they had anticipated. They were tasked with everything from modeling the life cycle of a neutron star to decoding signals from a newly discovered form of dark matter. Each challenge pushed them to their limits, forcing them to combine their knowledge in new and innovative ways. Throughout it all, Zara found herself drawing on skills she never knew she had. Her human intuition, so different from the logical processes of her alien teammates, often provided the spark that led to breakthrough solutions. When faced with a particularly perplexing spatial dynamics problem, it was Zora's suggestion to visualize it as a three-dimensional chess game that ultimately led them to the answer. But their progress didn't go unnoticed. As they advanced through the rounds, Zora could feel the weight of scrutiny upon them. Whispers followed them, some of admiration, others of suspicion. She caught glimpses of Professor Xylith watching them with narrowed eyes, his chromatophores flickering with barely contained emotion. The final challenge was announced: to propose a viable method for achieving stable wormhole creation for intergalactic travel. It was a problem that had puzzled the greatest minds in the galaxy for millennia. As they huddled together, poring over data and arguing theories, Zara felt a moment of panic. How could she, a simple human girl, contribute anything meaningful to such an advanced concept? But then, as she listened to her friends debate, something clicked. A memory surfaced of an old Earth science fiction novel she had read as a child, combined with a lecture on quantum entanglement she had attended just weeks ago. "What if," she said slowly, her mind racing, "what if we're thinking about this all wrong? Instead of trying to bore a hole through space-time, what if we could fold it? Like a piece of paper?" Her teammates looked at her in confusion, but as she began to explain, drawing diagrams and spouting a mixture of half-remembered sci-fi terminology and newly acquired galactic physics, their expressions changed from puzzlement to growing excitement. For the next several hours, they worked feverishly, combining Zara's intuitive leap with Vexler's quantum calculations, Kriok's spatial modeling, and Blorp's data analysis. When they finally submitted their proposal, it was with a sense of breathless anticipation. The judging seemed to take an eternity. Zara's heart pounded as she watched the panel of esteemed scientists pore over their work, their alien faces inscrutable. Finally, the head judge, a being of pure energy contained within a sophisticated exosuit, floated forward. After careful consideration, the judge's voice resonated through the arena. We have reached a decision. The proposal submitted by Team Earth Centra presents a truly innovative approach to wormhole creation. While highly theoretical and requiring significant further research, it represents a paradigm shift in our understanding of space-time manipulation. We hereby award them first place in this year's Galactic Academic Olympiad. The arena erupted in a cacophony of cheers, trills, and other alien sounds of celebration. Zara found herself engulfed in a group hug, Creoc's feathers tickling her face, while Blorp's gelatinous form quivered with joy. Even Vexilor, usually so reserved, was emanating waves of pure elation. As they were led to the winner's podium, Zara caught sight of Professor Xylith. To her surprise, the Xanthranian's expression was one of grudging respect. He gave her a small nod, his chromatophores pulsing in a pattern she had learned to recognize as acknowledgement. Zara felt the weight of countless lives settling on her shoulders. What can I do to help? Dean Zornfar's many eyes blinked in synchronicity. We need you to work with our top scientists to find a way to stabilize these anomalies. Your unique perspective, combined with our advanced technology, may be our only hope. The next few days were a blur of feverish work. Zara found herself in the heart of the Academy's most advanced research facility, surrounded by minds that had shaped the course of galactic history. To her surprise, she was treated not as a junior student, but as an equal. Her human intuition and creative problem-solving were valued now more than ever. As they worked, Zara couldn't help but notice a change in Professor Xylith. The once skeptical Xanthranian now sought her input regularly, his initial disdain replaced by genuine respect. I must admit, Xylith said during a rare quiet moment, I had severely underestimated your species. Your ability to see connections where we see only chaos. It's remarkable. Zara smiled, touched by the admission. We all have something to learn from each other, Professor. That's the beauty of this place, isn't it? Their breakthrough came, fittingly, through a combination of alien technology and human inspiration. Zara, recalling an old Earth theory about using sound waves to extinguish fire, proposed using controlled pulses of tachyon particles to cancel out the space-time distortions. The implementation was far from simple. It required precise calculations, technology beyond anything Zara had ever imagined, and a level of interspecies cooperation unprecedented in the Academy's history. But as the first successful tests were conducted on a small scale, a sense of hope began to spread. The day of the full-scale attempt arrived all too soon. Zara stood aboard the Academy's flagship, the Stellar Forge, as it approached the largest of the space-time anomalies. The swirling vortex of distorted reality loomed before them, a sight both terrifying and awe-inspiring. All systems are ready, Creoc reported from his station, his crystalline feathers shimmering with nervous energy. Blorp, who had insisted on joining the mission, burbled encouragingly. You've got this, Zara. We all believe in you. Zara took a deep breath, her hand hovering over the activation switch. In that moment, she felt the weight of not just her own species, but of all the diverse life forms she had come to know and respect at the Academy. With a silent prayer to whatever forces might be listening, she engaged the system. A beam of concentrated tachyons shot forth from the stellar forge, striking the heart of the anomaly. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly at first, but with gathering speed, the swirling vortex began to shrink. Cheers erupted across the ship as sensors confirmed the anomaly was collapsing in on itself, the fabric of space-time knitting back together. Similar reports came in from other ships deployed to smaller anomalies across the sector. The crisis was being averted. As the last of the distortions faded from existence, Zara felt a profound sense of relief wash over her. She had not only helped save the galaxy, but had also proven beyond any doubt the value of humanity's contribution to the galactic community. In the days that followed, as the Academy and the wider galactic society came to terms with recent events, Zara found herself at the center of a new movement. The Galactic Council, impressed by the role of human creativity in averting catastrophe, proposed a major expansion of the exchange program that had brought Zara to the Academy. "We have learned a valuable lesson," Dean Zornthar announced at a grand assembly. "True progress comes not from isolation, but from the meeting of diverse minds. The human perspective, so different from our own, has shown us new ways of approaching age-old problems. It is time we embrace this diversity and use it to propel our understanding of the universe to new heights." As Zara listened to the Dean's speech, surrounded by her alien friends and mentors, she felt a sense of pride and purpose she had never known before. She had come to the Academy as an outsider, a curiosity from a primitive world. She was leaving as a respected member of the galactic scientific community, a bridge between Earth and the stars. Professor Xylith approached her after the assembly, his chromatophores glowing with warm colors she had never seen him display before. "Zara Chen," he said, his voice filled with genuine admiration, "you have taught us all a valuable lesson. Your species may be young, but you have much to offer the galaxy. I look forward to seeing what other wonders humans will bring to our shared future." As Zara prepared for her journey back to Earth, tasked with the momentous responsibility of paving the way for more human students to join the Academy, she reflected on her incredible journey. She had come seeking knowledge and had found so much more: friendship, respect, and a place for humanity among the stars. The Galactic Nexus Academy had changed her, but she had changed it too. And in that mutual growth and understanding, Zara saw the promise of a brighter future for all species across the vast expanse of the cosmos. As her ship prepared for the journey home, Zara took one last look at the shimmering spires of the Academy. She knew that this was not an end, but a beginning. Humanity's adventure among the stars was just getting started, and she couldn't wait to see what wonders the future held.